Right, so I'm driving home right now from. I started doing an improv class, uh, probably I don't know a couple months ago, and I'm in like the level 2 improv right now. It's just kind of crazy. Like I'm literally driving right now. I've never done a live like this, but um, one thing I've been thinking about is just the idea of like continually. Um, doing new things. And I've heard from a lot of, successful people and just like in books and stuff that, you know, you got to learn how to fail. You got to like fail a bunch. There's that famous quote by Michael Jordan, about all the shots he didn't make. And, he famously got cut from his like high school basketball team and just, the idea of like, just like failure and that like failing presents me like with an opportunity to evaluate like am I dedicated enough to like put in the time to get better at this or not. During COVID and at the end of 2020, when my business kind of collapsed, and well, it didn't kind of collapse, it did collapse. And being in live events, I spent a lot of years um, uh, like trying to diversify um, my workload, and I started doing different types of events, and it's DJing, and I started doing like AV work, and all of that went away. I realized that everything was under one umbrella when COVID happened. And pretty soon, within like a couple weeks, I was giving client, money was flowing the wrong way. I was giving money back to my clients, and I was like, yeah, this isn't like gonna work. I'm not sure how I'm gonna like survive this way. And so I got my real estate license. Is that Matt? Hey, what's up, Matt? Just me and you, bud. Um, and so I got my real estate license and my broker's license, and I sucked at that. Like I got into it and realized like it wasn't going to be like there was just like some relationship um, type of things like that I just didn't like about the real estate industry, and I realized that I didn't want to play the game. Like I wasn't dedicated enough to play the game and like get good in that industry, and so I stopped. I mean, my son asked me, this was like a couple months ago, maybe a year ago. He said, "Dad, why do you like start things and not finish them?" He's like, "You've like started all these different companies, and like then you just like stop doing them." And I kind of, at first I was like, "Ouch, that kind of hurts." My son, kind of saying that, and I know that's the perception from a lot of people that I know, and but I've stuck with some things. I haven't quit everything, and the things that I've quit, that's not failure. I mean, I started a tie dye company, during COVID, same thing, like trying to make some money, and I realized like very soon after starting that you know it just the money wasn't there. Like there's people doing this like in their free time as a hobby, like making a bunch of shirts and selling them for $5. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get into this thing to like make some money, and it's not going to be a money maker. There's a reason why there's only one, kind of national tie dye company. You know what I mean? Like it's just not a profitable business. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm done with that. And that cost me like $2,500 that I didn't have, that I'm investing in this business. And so I got out of that. I put more money into it than I got out of it, and more time. And, that's another thing, is like tie dye and real estate, that both, they both sucked. A lot of people would look at that and be like, oh, well, it's, Jeremy's failing at this and failing at that. And certainly I've like felt like that before in these kind of instances, and I can kind of get in my own head. But I mean, really, it's about just like how am I going to overcome that? What's the next thing? And yeah, I'm kind of like ADHD, um, and people are like, oh, you're doing this and doing that, and it's like, well, I kind of have like these core things that I do, and all these other things I try, and hopefully some of these things will take off. But I don't know. I mean, there was another thing I started this was another like COVID thing. I thought that, oh man, I'm losing my connection here, but during COVID, I started this micro wedding company called Wed Quick. And I thought this was going to be a thing. And I was noticing like people wanted these micro weddings, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to like bring this to market. I have all the skills that I need for this. And I spent like months, finding venues for it, other vendors to work with. I had my price. I built a website. I ordered business cards. In fact, maybe that's why this is coming up, because I literally just threw those business cards out today. But I mean, I spent like, I don't want to say, shitloads on a live Facebook, but I spent a lot of like time and energy in this thing. I joined the Chamber of Commerce like under this name, WedQuick, and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be like pretty good. I got no call, like literally zero. The phone rang 0 times to do a micro wedding, and I was like, that's not a failure. I just learned that micro weddings aren't going to be as big as I thought they were, at least not at that time. And so, last week I jumped on here because I'm talking about, I want to like talk about these like new things. And, last week I became a real estate investor. Like, that's crazy. Like, I invested in a piece of real estate, and it's like, I have never owned a house. Um, I mean, I've, most of, not most, but I guess part of my adult life, like I've lived in, I don't know, like kind of crappy places. And now I'm like investing in real estate. And that's just kind of crazy to me. And, I just, like I was saying at the beginning of this, I just left this improv class. I've been doing improv. It's like, whose line is it anyways type of stuff. And like I've gotten like really tight with these people in this group. We kind of all go in there, and it's a small group of us, half a dozen of us, and it's almost like a support group in some ways. We come together for a couple hours a week and like explore, new ways of like communicating, new like emotional states that we might not normally communicate in, and just like we kind of like try out this new stuff. And we did this exercise tonight. It's like 2 minutes of getting on stage and just like um basically acting out in a character, creating this character like on the spot and like acting it out based on suggestions. And we're alone like on a stage with like big lights, like with my I guess peers, watching me, and the instructors. And I felt like I did like terrible on that. And it was like after that, they had an opportunity. Hey, does anybody else want to do it again? And so I went up a second time, and this time I was like, I literally was like a trick or treating kid that was dressed up as a caterpillar. I mean, this is ridiculous stuff. But like to put myself in that mindset, like what would I feel like as a kid dressed up as a caterpillar? And I felt like crap. But like that was the character in that moment. And again, it's like it's about like getting it's about like being better after we would say fail, but like failing forward, I guess, is kind of term that I've heard. And that's, that's like what I'm trying to do. And I don't know, like, yeah, some stuff doesn't work out. I've tried a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff has not worked out that I've tried. But it's like a few things have. And I guess that's what's on my mind right now that I wanted to share with everybody. And that's why I'm doing this like crazy. I'm literally driving right now with this light on in my car, which is probably totally stupid, but I'm on like there's no cars around here right now. But it's like, I don't know, man. I've just been thinking about that idea of like, failing forward. And hey, Carolyn. Hey, what's up, Nicole? That's cool, man. It's hard to look at my phone while I'm driving, but, and Carolyn knows it, I was just talking about being a new real estate investor. Like, I mean, it's like new, it's like a new thing. And, I'm trying it out. Like, I'm putting my best foot forward, and, like I said, these other kind of things that I've tried, like I'm always like trying to give it my best effort. And sometimes, I saw this like motivational poster like years ago. It's like it showed the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it said sometimes, or uh, what was it? When your best just isn't good enough. And I'm just, sometimes it's not. Like sometimes you just can't win the race. Sometimes you get second place. But another thing, and I got to get off here soon because I'm almost home. But another thing is I read a study. I think this was in the Malcolm Gladwell book that I read actually, where um, he said that some researchers did a study on Olympic medalists, and they determined that bronze medalists were actually happier or more satisfied than silver medalists, because the silver medalist didn't get first, but the bronze medalist at least got a medal. And just try to think of that, man. I mean, there's always going to be somebody like bigger, stronger, faster, with more money, more talent. I mean, I was like the kid, like I did 2 years of basketball. I sucked. And I realized, after like 2 minutes of playtime in 2 years, I was like, yeah, I don't care about this as much as the other guys. Like, I can either put in the time to like get better at this and hopefully compete with these guys, or I can do something else with my time. And that was right around the time that I started playing the drums. And so I put a lot of time into learning how to play the drums, and that kind of like set the trajectory for the rest of my life, I almost hit a frog. Dude, there's a bunch of frogs up here. What the heck are these guys doing? I just am driving down the road and there's like a street full of frogs. Oh, dudes, stop, man. That's crazy. I've never seen that before. I hope I didn't hit those guys. Oh my gosh. Wow. Kind of an interesting time. Slow connection again. Not even sure if you guys are on here still, but I might have just ran over a bunch of frogs. I tried to avoid them, I swear. But anyways, just like, and that's the thing, like at the improv thing tonight, my buddy Andy, like he was a frog, like in his scene, like this grown dude who's like in the military, like was on stage in front of all of us, like acting like a frog. I mean, that's ridiculous. But it's like that's what we do in improv, and it just, I don't know, just like I'm really like inspired to kind of like try new things. And so I've been trying like this, you know, I started that YouTube channel. I wanted to do like live YouTubes, and they kept moving the goalpost on me. And, maybe I'll just start doing these like live Facebook stuff just about like life. And, you know, I don't know, this was just like one thing. And, I also got like a Facebook message from somebody today. It's weird because I had just seen this person's business card. Haven't talked to them in quite a while. Um, and kind of like a big new thing that I think is in the works, kind of like divinely uh, inspired. And, it's kind of like got me thinking quite a bit. And so, I don't know. I just got a lot going on in my head. Well, I always have a lot going on in my head, but, just like it's about trying new things, man. And we just like, I don't know, like I'm probably gonna fail at a lot more stuff, like I'm gonna suck at stuff, and I just have to be okay with that. Um, it's tough. I went to see this guy Niall Horan with my daughter last week, and I just remember thinking like he was talking about how he used to like play sports and stuff, and I just remember thinking like, dude, this guy's probably been good at everything his entire life, and it just I got depressed like at the concert. Like I literally went to the back of White River Amphitheater and like had to take a moment to myself and just like kind of like like this guy's way better than you're ever gonna be was like the script I had in my head, and that sucks, man. I don't like thinking about that stuff, and I don't know, just trying to like get better at life. And I don't know, hopefully somebody out there watching this either now or in the future gets some value out of this. Thanks for listening.